Good day. This is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. By the way, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and I would be grateful. So today we're going to talk about perspective. And we're going to talk about perspective in terms of human history, but this can be applied to really any aspect of life, spirituality, finances, all things. And when I say perspective, here's what I mean. You know, there was a story that I had listened to not that long ago about a history teacher who was trying to teach kids about history before the school year started. So what he did was he staged a mock fight that the kids were not aware of with another teacher. And at the beginning of the year, the teacher came in and they had this mock fight. And, they acted out, that there was something going on. And when the teacher finally told the other teacher to leave the classroom, the history teacher asked the children to just briefly write down what they observed so that he could report that back to the administration. So they did that. And the next day, what happened is the teacher came in with the other teacher and explained to the kids that what had occurred was actually they were just acting, that it was not real. And in that, he essentially kind of wrote down exactly what every student had written down. And what came out of that was that he was able to show the students that everyone had a slightly different view of what happened. And in that view of what happened, some, students who, had the teacher before liked him, skewed their, what they saw towards that teacher in his favor. Some knew the other teacher and were fond of him, so they skewed what they saw based on what, on their fondness for the other teacher. And some tried to be more third party and just kind of write down what they observed. And really what happened was the students didn't have the same, they all had different views of what had occurred, what had transpired. And the point that this history teacher was trying to make, and I may be butchering a story, but I'm trying to make it brief, was that history is written by the perspective of one person. Yet many, many, many people have different perspectives of what happens. For instance, a lot of times we hear history is written by the victors, and then you go back to discuss or review the history from the folks who essentially in some cases were dominated or defeated, and to get a bigger perspective. Yet you have to understand that that's only two perspectives. There are a multitude of other perspectives in there. There are a multitude of perspectives of people who existed in one side who were maybe happy with the life or the culture, and you have those who were not, as well as on the side of the, say, attacking army or attacking culture, the same thing. You have people with all sorts of a whole spectrum of views on their culture and their perspective. So when we really go back and look at history, what we're only looking at is really one perspective, and in some cases two perspectives, but there are millions of perspectives about what was going on, which potentially would create a view or an image of that history being completely different. So why are we talking about this? Why do I bring this up? And how does it apply to really spirituality, finance, just everything? There are almost 8 billion people on the planet. Every one of those 8 billion people have a different perspective about life. Every one of those 8 billion people have a different perspective about religion and finance and history and business and spirituality. But the average person wouldn't say that one person's perspective is correct. They would believe that their perspective is correct. And so the important part about that, and what it's important to understand, is because there is such a spectrum of perspectives, that there is no one right perspective. Now, are there, like for instance, if you're a third party and you're just viewing it from the perspective of observing or having an observation of what occurred, that's probably the closest to the truth. However, who makes that determination? See, it's important to understand that there is a wide spectrum and variety of people on the planet, and that just being open to all perspectives has value and importance. Being open to all perspectives provides enrichment to one's journey. And there is no one right perspective. There's always going to be someone who has an alternate thought or idea about certain values or cultural beliefs. So I hope this helps you on your journey to understanding history, understanding spirituality, and understanding perspective. Again, if you have questions or would like to talk about this more, please share comments in the comments section. I would love to interact with you. Until next time, peace, love, light. Until I talk to you again, have an amazing day.